Sandhill View is a success story. This secondary school has improved examination performance from 15% 5A stars to C's in 1998 to 71% by 2006. 5 years ago, it moved into a building on a new site which also serves the wider community. I asked the head teacher Richard Bain how important this move had been in improving standards.
I think very important. I suppose that the old building was very, very negative. It gave the message, you know, these children aren't really worth very much because this is all we're offering them. But that's been turned round, and it's not just the school, but it's actually what it offers for the community. So the sports facilities which are used by the community library, we've now got a health drop-in centre on site. And I think parents now see the school as being part of the community facilities, and they identify with the school much more.
How important is that link between home and school in trying to really turn around a school and raise standards?
I think it's crucial. If we've got the parents with us and supporting us, we can make very much more of a difference. I think for us, we see the key issue with our pupils as being their aspirations, and we need to both to change pupils' aspirations for themselves, but also the parents' aspirations for their children. So we need to be engaging with both if we're going to make any change to that.
I mean, I make the assumption that probably most of your parents haven't themselves been to university.
Yes, that would be the case.
And
yes.
on the whole, not got professional jobs that have needed lots of qualification beyond school. So that's a big cultural change for parents, isn't it?
It is, and if you can't get them in to talk to them, you can't start to make those changes. But I think we are getting a much better dialogue with our parents. As with
Millfields, it seems that involving parents is key to raising aspirations and attainment. But what else works?
We do a great deal of work in terms of pupil tracking.
Right.
And so knowing exactly which pupils are underachieving in which subjects, and not just in which subjects, but which parts of which subjects. And then targeting those pupils, and particularly ensuring that where there is coursework, that they get the coursework completed. And if we can do that, they then do get the results at the end.
So there's always a debate that coursework disadvantages boys. So what you've done is almost, you can see that you acknowledge it, but you do something about it by putting in...
That's right. You know, there is somebody standing over them, making sure that the coursework actually gets done and gets completed and isn't pushed aside and forgotten. So,
I mean, you're basically talking about tailor-made support for each child. Is there a gender difference in the support that you're offering? Is that the way it works out when you actually look at what you're doing?
Not really. No. Some of the techniques that we were using with boys, the girls picked up on, and that was one of the reasons that the girls maintained their lead.
Richard has used all the flexibility on offer to make the Key Stage 4 curriculum more appropriate for his students.
We have a wide range of vocational courses, and those are very successful with pupils that you would expect to be disaffected, and a large number of those are actually turned round once they start becoming engaged with those vocational courses.
And presumably then are able to continue the vocational courses post-16 as well?
Yes, but the exciting thing is it doesn't just change their attitude to the vocational courses, it changes their attitude to everything that they're doing in school. It gives them a sense of worth, a sense of purpose, and they then go back to their English and their maths with much greater motivation and much greater success.
Yes.
And all of which are skills that will benefit them in their further studies.
There is no doubt that Sandhill is an improving school. But what about those pupils who are harder to reach, the ones still not fulfilling their potential?
I think for us, we would like to be able to apply some of the principles that we've applied at Key Stage 4 more at Key Stage 3, and so adapt the curriculum more and engage pupils earlier. At the end of Key Stage 3, we have a number of pupils who are disaffected with what we're offering at that stage. Key Stage 4 engages them more. If we could engage them earlier on in Key Stage 3, that would make a difference.
Is that a decision you can take, or do you need somebody else to take a decision in order for you to do that?
QCA are changing the curriculum at Key Stage 3, giving schools much more freedom, and that's exciting. An issue is whether you really trust them, because they're saying, well, you can do different things, but the SATs actually are staying the same, and you feel that the assessment is actually determining a great deal of what you're doing.
Whereas at Key Stage 4 you've had the flexibility to choose different forms of assessment to reflect the teaching patterns.
Yeah.
A mile or so down the road, Highfields Primary School focuses on the performing arts to raise attainment. The head, Jane Caldwell, knows her pupils well and what it takes to bring out the best in them.
We know this is an area of great deprivation, but they come in here and they enter a different world, and this is a world where what's going on outside is less important. What goes on inside here is more important. One here.
Right. Beautiful animals.
Yes. The artist who came in has painted a different one on each wall. So this is the panda room, if you like.
Oh, the children love this.
Yes, yeah.
They're beautifully done, aren't they,
yes.
the paintings?
We have parents who come into school to train to gain accreditation for teacher training, but we also have parents who are keen to come in and work alongside their children. They come in and dance with their children. They learn how to help their children. They learn how to use books. They visit libraries, they buy books, they go out on trips to buy books.
Nice to see you. How are you? Very pleased to see you.
Highfields is an inspirational environment for the children, and like the other schools we visited, they try to inspire the parents as well.
It was part of how we looked at what we were doing. Why aren't we better? We've done all the things that you're advised to do. Why aren't we better?
That's a cultural change.
Well, we looked differently at what we were doing during the week. We thought, well, by Wednesday, everybody's complaining that children have had enough. So instead of trying to make the children fit the curriculum, we said, well, let's make a curriculum that fits our children. I think you have to know your school and your children and your staff very well to be able to do that, and to have the confidence to step out on your own. So we did that. Thursday became a more practical day, and then Friday is performing arts throughout the day and sport.
And how's it worked for the children?
Excellently. Our results just took off.
What is it about creativity that you think raises standards right across all areas of the curriculum?
I think the most important thing is the raising of self-esteem, because a lot of children have the can't-do idea of anything new, and we try to create a can-do atmosphere in this school. As a nation, we're not good at shouting our own praises. Now, that's not so here. I think that teachers as well are so used to being criticised and urged to do better that they forget how good they are. But you see, that's the role of a head teacher. I feel that my job is to publicise the excellence that takes place here, and I enjoy doing that.
That's at local level, that's what heads can do in their own school to create this culture. Can government do it from a national level, and have any of those initiatives helped you at all?
Well, those initiatives that probably carried some money attached will have done some good. I think Every Child Matters was a clever way of stating in 5 sound bites, if you like, all that was needed. I think if every school delivered Every Child Matters, then and believed in that philosophy, then I think that would go some way towards turning things round. I think a big step and a big leap in faith on the government's part would be to do away with the SATs. I think teacher assessment has become so accurate now and so skilled that if this could be done, it removes an enormous pressure on schools that at the moment are not achieving well. You know, it must be a dread to come out. To wait for the league tables to come out and think, oh my goodness, you know. I mean, in any table, no matter how well everybody does, there's got to be someone at the top and someone at the bottom.
Are you an optimist about our ability as a nation to really close the attainment gap?
Absolutely. I mean, if we can get it right, then anyone can. There's no magic formula. And I've been asked, can we have a copy of your creative curriculum? But that's not what works. You have to know your children, know your school. What is it that isn't happening here? Now, performing arts is our solution, but it mightn't be yours. Might be sport, might be IT, it might be something else. But that sits on a very firm foundation of tracking and target setting. And I think the big answer is it's nothing magic or different about what's going on here. It's what's possible, but you do have to know your school. And it doesn't always happen.
Sunderland and Hackney might be hundreds of miles apart on very different places, but the schools all use data as one of their tools to raise standards. When I returned to London, I wanted to know if we could do any more with data, so I spoke to Dr. Ian Shagan, the head statistician at the NFER.
I don't think that nationally we always collect the right sort of data in order to help us to understand the mechanism which would lead to underachievement. What we don't have is the stuff which is about pupils' attitudes to reading, attitudes to their subject, but also attitudes to school, whether they feel safe, whether they're being bullied, and also parental attitudes, parental motivation, how they feel about education. All these things I think can be quite important in terms of underachievement.
And it's reliable data?
It can be, because actually, our experience, if you ask the right questions and collect the data carefully in such a way that pupils feel that their opinions are valued, that they won't go straight back to the teachers, that they can reply in confidentiality, that we find that we actually can get reliable and accurate scales.
What you're saying there is let's ask questions that really explain why those children are underachieving rather than just who they are. So it's more as how's it happen? It's breaking down their lifestyle, what happens to them in school and at home, and trying to understand better so we can do something about it.
Yes, I mean, if you really want to know why children aren't achieving, why not ask the experts? Why not ask the children themselves?
There are no easy solutions or quick fixes, and the roots of the problem go beyond the school gates. In the 4 schools we've visited, there's a similarity in what's worked for them, but individuality in how it's been implemented. But the question that's been most difficult to answer is why the problem is greater in the United Kingdom than elsewhere. I suspect it's a reflection of wider society as much as it is of our schools. It's our attitude to class and poverty and our national ambition. As Sir Michael Wilshaw observed, we've only been taking the attainment gap seriously for the last 10 to 15 years. But it's schools that will continue to be the focus in taking us forward.